give me like a little bit of a introduction, like yourself, like obviously what you're doing right now. Maybe set for arbitrage. Obviously you do a little bit of Section 8 too, which we'll talk about. But give me like a brief introduction, like yourself, where you're from. This way, whoever's listening kind of gets to know you a little bit.
All right. I'm from Long Island, New York. I grew up playing sports all year round in my life. Similar to you, when I had injuries, it kind of threw me a curveball, and it happened a lot younger. It didn't happen in my 20s or just out of college. It happened middle of high school, and when that happened, I didn't turn to God. I turned away, and I turned to the streets actually, and
Mm,
I became engulfed full blown into the streets of here and ended up in prison when I was 17 years old. So that's when I started to take a different look at life and different approach to things. I grew up with a father who was a mortgage broker, so I had been involved with real estate and been learning stuff with him early on. He had his own bank that he was doing house flips as well with, and
nice.
so I always had an entrepreneurial business mindset. I was hustling and doing things in the street, and when I started to get a financial education, I started educating myself. That's when I changed the outlook on life, and I realized, I read Think and Grow Rich, because
Yeah.
after I did time and came out, I was in three different unions. I was an operating engineers. I was in local 25, an electric union, and I was in a labor union. So I've done
Oh,
so
wow.
many different trades. I've done 16-hour days doing road work. I've done clean trades doing electric for commercial stuff. I've done pretty much everything. I stole a fence on and off every summer since I was 15. And I excelled at everything I did, and hard work was never
Yeah.
hard for me. I excelled at it, and I've always had the mindset like my dad taught me: if you're not 5 minutes early,
Yeah.
you're late. So
Yeah.
every time I've had a job, I excel at it, and then after about 8 or 9 months, I'm like, I don't want to do this the rest of my life,
Wow.
And then
Yeah.
that's when I realized, after starting at a financial education, reading Think and Grow Rich, and Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that whole advisory
Yeah.
series, and the Magic of Thinking
Hmm.
Big, and Tax Free Wealth. I started reading all that. I realized that, I wasn't educated properly, even though I had been
Hmm.
educated from my father a little bit. But just like everybody else in America, we're not taught financial education.
Yeah.
And that's what the elites teach everybody, and that's why they rule the world, and that's why
Yeah.
1% of the world owns the majority of the real estate, and that's where all that wealth
Yeah.
generally comes. So I started realizing like that's where I got to be. I got to do that,
Mm,
and it was a battle for me from running distribution company. I actually ran a successful THC and CBD distribution company, but it was
mhm.
still part of like that old life, even though it was legitimate. I still wanted to get away from that because I felt like I was still dealing with the same type of people and the same thing. And
Yeah.
when I sold that business and started to put all my money into real estate, um, everything changed drastically. It changed drastically, realizing how I could actually generate wealth for my family and my family's future.
Mm,
And I'm not
yeah.
gonna lie, when I originally before I started doing purchasing real estate for Section 8, I started thinking I had a mapped out plan of doing Airbnb.
Mm,
Um, I had watched a bunch of different videos and interviewed with a bunch of other mentors slash guru people, and
yeah.
I was getting the same type of information from everybody. I was getting
Mm,
sold a lifestyle. I was getting
yeah.
sold, an ease thing, but I wasn't getting sold any type of implementation systems.
Yeah. Mm,
And I told you guys that was the biggest thing that made a big difference on me. That's what when I spoke with you guys, that's what sold me. I was like,
yeah.
systems. These
Hmm.
guys are 10 years plus my senior, which in an investor's world is like, oh man, they don't have as much experience. But I was like, they have
Yeah.
a much more experience with this day and age's business.
Yeah.
I'm doing
Yeah.
old business. I'm doing old business with total business. Not that it's wrong or it's bad or anything, but that's not our world any longer. Our
Mhm.
world is really it's systems. And I learned how much systems is crazy. I should have implemented this earlier because I was bodybuilding and had an amazingly regimented life, and my systems were
Yeah.
amazing. And I wish I had incorporated over into my business aspect a little bit more with this, because now with the system that I've learned with you guys, I'm already
Yeah.
teaching people the system. I'm already
Love
like,
it.
it's I love the systems, and now I'm so
Yeah.
confident in the system that I'm ready to, I'm scaling as it is, and
Yeah.
my goals are to reach a certain level, and then I'm ready to go on to the next thing where I'm going to be able to set
Sure.
and forget it, and hire people to
Yeah.
start really growing it, and it kind of
Yeah.
makes me feel unstoppable. Like I could do it in anything now. So,
100%.
you know,
Dude, that's great. And like I obviously wasn't fully aware of like that full story, obviously like all the way back then. And that's obviously like um honestly super resonating. Obviously, I don't have anything very like similar to that, but on the career side of sports and injury, and to see you go down that path and then pull yourself out of it and like now be where you are today, it's obviously like it's a lot of people will resonate with that, you know, and I think that's what helps a lot of people kind of get that fear out of their mind to be like, oh yeah, I can do this too, you know, even if they come from rock bottom or whatever that is. So that's awesome. I know for you, um, alongside, and I do want to kind of mention this because you mentioned something like, hey, like once you kind of scale this, it's like, okay, on to the next thing, right? Kind of using these in different levels of stages of your career, right? And like
mhm.
what you want to achieve with you and your family. I always say this, and I put it on my story the other day. I know you saw it. It was like, he who catches, you know, two rabbits catches none, right? And
Yep.
with you, like you basically use different stepping stones, right, in your life, in your career to kind of get to where you are now, right? Which I know you're super blessed and like everything's excelling amazingly. But like, talk to me a little bit. We'll discuss the Airbnb stuff specifically here in a little bit, but talk to me a little bit on like these different vehicles that you're using because I know that you were with Section 8 and I know you're still doing that right now. And then, okay, now you're learning about Airbnb arbitrage. I know you've converted a couple of your Section 8 to Airbnbs and it's like, okay, now kind of diversifying. Talk
Mhm.
to me a little bit on like that process and what kind of looked or got you to look like, okay, let me look into Airbnb arbitrage and kind of mingle the two business models.
Okay, so first, what happened was when I sold my distribution company, I was supposed to
Yeah.
have, it was a buyout for the next 2 years. I'm getting basically a salary paid out, and they fucked up my business.
Wow.
They messed up my business, and that positive income that I was having was diminishing, and was going to leave.
Mm,
And I still have a chunk of change to be able to doing stuff with, but I was like, wow, I need to get my cash flow up more. Because
mm,
at that point, I was like, almost thinking, life is sweet. I can relax and do this as it's
sure.
going. Do invest in the Section 8 programming and doing that. And the big difference though with Section 8 program, I bought into Tom Cruise's mentorship, and
Right.
the best thing that was from that was the access to the network. Access to the network because
Mm,
I met some different agents and different people there who I'm still in contact with. But
nice.
the system, well, there wasn't a system sold.
Yeah.
There wasn't an implementation the same type of way. It isn't easy to scale. If you can go and kick ass at generating funding, doing crowdfunding, and get a bunch of money together, like on a larger
Mm,
scale, it can do something like that. But one thing I didn't like to do is sell myself. Like I was a personal
mm,
trainer for years, and on Long
yeah.
Island, there's every other fucking person in the world is a personal trainer. It's something that like I didn't really love doing, selling myself on that part where because people are looking and trying to question you all this, and I'm like, I'm a fucking
Sure.
professional. I've been doing this forever. Like it
Yeah.
was it's insulting. I just didn't like being around that area of selling myself. So even now, I have a couple investors with me. They came to me.
Mm,
I didn't sell them on something.
yeah.
They're seeing that I'm
Yeah.
kicking ass, and they're like, okay, let me come to it. So I just didn't like
Hmm.
that aspect. And even though you said this before, like how it resonates with people, like I have been total rock bottom. I've been had nothing, came out with nothing but debt to my name. I've had absolutely
Yeah.
nothing. And been blessed to have a couple of friends and family who were able to help me and get me out of that hole.
Sure.
But I don't really like using this like sympathy thing of like, hey, I had it so
Yeah.
bad. I have real bad
Sure.
personal stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not necessarily. It's definitely humbling, but I did have all the tools growing up. I had all the tools.
Sure.
I'm an intelligent person. I excel at everything I do, and I failed really bad. I failed
Yeah.
really, really bad. So it's to me, I don't really like being reminded of it. Like I'd
Yeah.
like to, people know and are proud of me and what I've been through and what I do now. But the whole thing, like I see a bunch of people like, oh, I just got out of jail. I was there for 7 years, and now I'm flipping houses doing this. And I'm like, that's their sales pitch. And it's just like I don't want any type of attention. Um,
Sure.
at all the glory to God, and I just want my family and my friends around me to work. So like, I don't want any
Yeah.
type of game or anything like that. So that's why I shy away from that resignation about that. So when I started doing the Section 8 with Tom Cruise, first off, I'm not working with Tom Cruise. You're not actually working directly. I'm
Right.
not getting I'm getting occasionally group call with multiple people, but there was zero
Yeah.
one-on-one part. And
Mm,
not to knock him or do anything like that, but that's not what I was
yeah.
looking for more. So I'm
Totally.
involved with that. And then the concept of it being so easy to cash flow that high to be able to get Section 8 rents higher than they're supposed to, which is what they're preaching all the time. It's not a
Hmm.
reality. That's a very rare aspect of it. It can
Yeah.
happen, but it only starts to happen when you actually start to control that market area. And that's what Tom
Mm,
does. Takes up an entire area, so then he raises rents for everybody. It has to be across the board. It's a lot
yeah,
harder, even in an area that there's quote, need for Section 8. It's a lot harder to do
yeah,
that. So the first couple properties I'm buying, well, the first property I have, it didn't get rented for so long. I went through two different property
wow,
managers, and that one is actually one of the ones I first started up with you guys, and that's doing
yeah,
really well right now. But the other couple I did get fortunate to get a duplex that had two Section 8 rentals in it. But at the same
okay,
time, they haven't been able to increase rents over it. Section 8 denied the increased rents just because they don't feel like, not even denied, they just like backtrack and don't do it until they
yeah,
have to. So that whole like I'm going to get more than market rent, that's bullshit. You're not going to get
yeah,
market rent. You're going to get a little bit below market rent. With the
hmm,
stability, still a good pitch, and I still like having the diversity. Like right now, I have a triplex. I just next week I'm going to be launching another Airbnb in St. Louis area,
yeah,
and it's a
hmm,
single family home in the back of a duplex. So the
yeah,
duplex, I'm actually trying to get Section 8 rentals, or actually one of my cleaners might be taking it. Would be great. So
nice,
yeah, but I want to have that like more stability with that. At the same time, like
yeah,
I'm not going to switch every little thing I have over to it. If it's working, I'm going to sit there. It's going to it'll appreciate and that'll be fine. But
yeah,
scalability is just and the cash flow. Like right now, as
yeah,
of this month, just now, all of my bills are paid by Airbnb. My
wow,
mortgage, my 1,500 car
wow,
note, my insurance, every single thing was paid. And actually, my wife's going to Arizona, and we're doing another two-bedroom over in the apartment complex you guys got us in, and
yeah,
that all of the money that is for that furnishing is coming from our account. Like we reached fifteen
wow,
thousand gross this month in there, and
nice,
actually
let's
paying
go,
anything. This has been the best feeling I've had where because I'm not coughing up another $5,000 mortgage payment
sure,
out of my
yeah,
savings right now.
yeah,
You know,
hmm,
so that was the
yeah,
biggest liberating thing, and now
yeah,
it's where now I was already balls to the walls, but now I'm like this scaling thing. I'm gonna add these two other properties that takes care of our lifestyle after those two.
yeah,
And then any money I have, I can just flood it into this
yeah,
now. I don't have to worry about a damn
yeah,
thing anymore because all of it's set. I'm very confident in the future with it. I like having that we have places in St. Louis and Arizona because they are balancing out the seasonality of the factor.
sure, yeah,
I'm confident that this will continue these prices that we're getting. I think that I'm kicking ass with the systems. I'm sure that when I get
yeah,
to a certain part and I try to have you guys manage those things, like it's going to continue to be just as good. So
oh yeah,
yeah, that feeling right there, like
yeah,
it
yeah.
really it's kick ass feeling. Is I I just I didn't expect it to handle as much so fast. In all honesty.
Sure. Sure. Well, listen, I want to congratulate you, even though like you do have real estate experience. You obviously know what you're doing. You have a ton of knowledge in the space, regardless of like Airbnb arbitrage, like a lot of the skill sets can mingle together. And like you already had that. And first I want to congratulate you because I always say this to all my clients because like even though like this is an implementational pack program, like we do a lot on our end, like it's still a two-way street. Like you're still putting in the work, you're still staying on top of your pricing, like making sure you are staying booked and like so on and so forth. You're following the season. So like you're still pulling your end and that's why you're seeing these results. So like first off, like give yourself a pat on the back. And I know it's like, I know you don't need that, but I know it's like, okay, hey, now you're balls to the walls more and like, yeah, I see this thing working, right? I'm gonna go ahead and continue scaling this and taking you to your next goals. And the biggest thing that quite fortunate for me that I've been able to kind of see at such a young age is like using these different vehicles, quote unquote, business models as stepping stones, right? Like for me, like I always wanted to be a landlord when I was younger. And I'm like, hell no, I don't want to be a landlord. I don't want to deal with all these tenants. My whole
Mm,
thing why I wanted to do it was because I thought the cash flow was there, right? And then as I started to look into it, I was like, yeah, it's more so of like the last stage of life of like preserving wealth, right? Not really
yeah,
generating the cash flow. And it's like, okay, now what are these different sectors of real estate that can be utilized to continue chasing these goals of ours? And it's like, okay, boom, that's where Airbnb arbitrage comes into. And I know that you saw that on a hindsight of
yeah,
like,
totally.
okay, like diversify now and kind of utilize the skill sets you already have. So let's talk a little bit more in detail. You don't have to talk too much about the markets or anything like that, but maybe just more of like numbers that you're seeing right now? I know you briefly talked about it, but like talk to me like how many Airbnb arbitrage properties you have right now. Maybe like what you did in revenue so far this month or last month. Talk to me a little bit on that.
All right, so we arbitraged three properties, all in Arizona in the same complex, and right now, like the first month, they were profiting a few $100s for the first month, and then a little bit more the next, getting closer to that 800 mark. And as of now, this third month, they're all profiting well over like 1,200. And
Nice.
we actually have a couple, like one person booked all the way into I think it's the middle of June, which is a slow season over there,
Wow.
at
Yeah.
$1,500 per month on us for profit.
Wow.
So that
That's a
one's,
one bed.
yeah, it's a one bet.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, someone had an unfortunate thing. They needed to get out of their home, and it worked out
Yeah.
perfectly for everybody. They're the
Yeah.
best we ever had too. They're extremely appreciative and awesome.
Yeah.
Another property is booked all the way till the end of March, and that's at 12 or 13
Nice.
dollars profit a month. So then the other
Wow.
one is they're all hitting their marked numbers. And then
Yeah.
with the St. Louis ones, this is the slow market, and you could tell just by price labs will show you that with their pricing, you'll see
Sure.
that. And because we own these properties, one of them I own outright that has no mortgage. That property is profiting 1,500 a month all the way till April right now. So
Nice. Yeah.
right now the revenue for the month it's gonna go over 15. Right now it's at
Yeah.
14.97, but I still have another week to
Okay.
get booked. So that book will take
Nice.
us over 15. Yeah, I'm sure
Hell
that
yeah.
like that's one thing that I built more patience and confidence in
Yeah.
is when to lower my rates and when to be
Yeah.
okay with that, because certain parts like, hey, we're not booked the 2 days out, but I'm learning and
Yeah.
seeing these certain markets. I'm learning and seeing how people book in the area, even during a slow
Sure.
season.
Yeah.
So I know that it's going to get booked, and I'm
Yeah.
holding it a little bit longer. It's still like a little just below our target. And even sometimes I switch it. I might do pricing more than once a day. I might do it at like, 6 hour intervals to check,
Yeah.
because most times I've noticed these people are booking all in the later hours. So before
Yeah.
I go to bed, if I didn't, then I'm going to drop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're all hitting their numbers. They're all hitting 800 or more per bedroom. The 3 bedrooms, the ones we own, they're hitting a little less. But all I wanted to do was profit $1,000 a month. Like that was my goal,
Yeah.
because going into it, first off, one property I had for 7 months with no rent whatsoever. That's me
Wow.
just coming out of pocket paying that mortgage on it.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and now that place is profiting me 1,200 to 1,500 bucks right now each time, and
Nice.
that's way over what you're going to get from Section 8. Like, I don't
Oh
care that
yeah.
they're stable in there and everything
Yeah.
like that. This is stable. This is
Yeah.
stable. There is an extreme need in these markets.
Hmm.
We fell upon the fact that this is a great market for arbitrage. I'm actually looking
Sure.
into taking like over an apartment building over in renting and doing arbitrage in St. Louis now, because
Nice.
studios are 600, 650.
Yeah.
And
It's crazy.
I go and look at Airbnb, and I go and look at Airbnb and see like the average daily rates of like across the country and stuff. And St. Louis being that low, like I- it's it, it's how can I
It's
not get a
mind
room
blowing.
for $50 a
Yeah.
night? Like
Yeah.
that's going to profit me over $800. So it's
Oh
like
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
That's where I'm looking
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm glad obviously like you're seeing the breakdown now because it's like, okay, now you can compare, okay, what you were doing with Section 8, right? And see, okay,
Mhm.
the biggest difference here, the demand of like the different needs, right? Of obviously Airbnb and of course Section 8. And of course, like they both work, right? Like they obviously work,
Mhm.
Section 8 works, but it's like what vehicle is actually going to take us to these goals? And that's the biggest thing that I think you're seeing now. And obviously I know you've known for a while. So I guess for you, the biggest things I know working with us has been like the systems, right? Like actually applying the implementational part, working with us one on one and like setting up these systems correctly to automate. So it's like, okay, every time you do add a property into your portfolio, it's like you're not trading another 10, 15 hours a week to manage it, right? Talk to
Yeah.
me a little bit on like the systems that we've helped you
Okay.
incorporate in this business that's now allowing you to continue scaling while like still only working like 10 hours a week on it.
Not even. Not even. And my wife is my partner with this stuff now too.
Yeah,
My wife is a frugal Jew that was so scared to invest and take any money out of her thing. She's just a penny saver that she's been. And I
sure.
forced her to come and to take a leap with me in buying one of these
Yeah,
houses. And now she's out there. When we got a call from Lisa, the landlord at the place in Arizona, and she's like, they got 2 places available. She was excited. She was ready because
love that.
she's implementing these strategies. She's doing it. I've taken it where she's proven herself, and she's handling the Arizona market
Sure.
completely by herself. I do all the pricing, and she's still learning it, but she's handling that. She's setting it up. She has her cleaners and everything there set up already like that. Um,
Yeah.
that implementation of the systems is the difference maker in everything. I don't know
Yeah.
other people's systems, a different
Yeah.
Airbnb person's things. I know that this place has everything covered. I know from top to
Yeah.
bottom that it has covered. Besides the fact that the support is really great, that I'm always getting to talk to you
Sure.
or Andrew each time. I'm not just talking to
Sure.
somebody else, but you guys are real quick and easy to get in touch with.
Sure.
That is a game changer.
Yeah.
When you learn how to work price labs, how you work with hospitable, I don't even almost never check hospitable. And when I add something, it takes me
Yeah.
like I just added another property, and I did it like while I was driving. I'm adding some of it. Oh, I get up here. I don't. There's no time and deadline. There,
Yeah.
to me, on there, there's no more stress involved with launching.
Yeah.
At first, I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I have to get it on the same day. This time, I'm like, I have no worries with that anymore
Yeah.
because I've seen it
Yeah.
work, and I've
Hmm.
ran through a lot of the different problems and the issues that can pop up, and every one of them was able to be solved.
Yeah.
Whenever that happened, it built more and more confidence in it, and now like I'm actually teaching other people the same thing and trying to get family and friends involved with it as well. It's
Nice.
almost like everybody's, my whole life people tell me to coach, and I coached like
Sure.
sports a lot, and I was a trainer a lot, and like coach, and I'm just like, so I took on a couple mentors, I took
Yeah.
mentees, and now I'm
Yeah.
like, just because like, I kept being pushed into it, but
Yeah.
so I totally understand and see where like why you doing it, and
Yeah.
obviously it's you're doing great money and you're helping, but like
Sure.
I know that the fact is that you were pushing this because there is a
Yeah.
need. Like people need to be shown, they need to have their hand held,
Yeah.
and they need some. You need to pay for that to be accountable. Because
Sure.
that's why, like, I help people and I'll write you a workout plan, I'll write you a diet and everything like
Sure.
that. I do it in like 5 seconds. But you know how many
Yeah.
people actually follow it? They barely ever
Yeah.
follow it because they're not paying a subscription fee. They have nothing to follow it on. And
Yep.
that's the part where it's like I understand it is sales technically, but at the same time, I see your bigger picture and I'm a full believer
Yeah.
in it now. I
Yeah.
don't sit here and think that it's, you're selling this type of thing just to make money, but
Yeah.
because it's filling a need, which is actually giving a greater purpose. Because now when you're already
Yeah.
you're doing really good, you're doing really well, and you're making a lot of money. Most times, if you didn't start a family, you're just trying to help them out. You start to lack purpose when you have money. In all honesty, you have it, and you're like, okay, I can rest and do whatever I want now, and then it kind of gets old quick. And the
Yep.
fact is that now I can see that that's what keeps you guys so hungry. You have so many people
Yeah.
you're helping. You have such a need
Yeah.
that's there, and it's like, yo, this is bigger than us now. It's bigger than my bank
Yeah.
account, and
Yeah.
that is because of this systems. You guys
Yeah.
nailed the system down before we fully started working. I was bragging about the systems to people. I'm on the golf
Yeah.
course. I'm like, hey, listen, like this system's different, and I got a couple kids taught me it. That's what I say to people. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, that's the thing. I didn't grow up with an iPhone. We
Yeah.
had Blackberries when I was in high school. It's a big
Yeah. Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
you have more experience with me with systematics in business than I would have because you grew up doing this and you're a younger entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a great factor, and it's a humbling
Yeah.
factor. It's the game changer though. Having the system set up
Sure.
the way you guys implement it. um I don't think if people who drop out, they don't want to do it at all.
Yeah.
That's totally on them. If they're
Yeah.
not working it, or they're being delusional in the fact that they're trying to like get by with as little as they can, instead of saying,
Sure.
hey, if I want to be hands off, I'm going to have to come up a little bit more because people are going to be doing a lot more for me. Otherwise, I could teach this to a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm actively teaching my children how to do it as well. Like,
Love it. Love it. That's awesome.
mhm,
Yeah, I listen. I think the biggest thing from that too, and I know when me and you first spoke, right? I mentioned this to you. It's like because this came from my experience too. Like when I got into this over a half decade ago, like I had a mentor and I had someone that taught me, but the Airbnb game was completely different, right? And I
mhm,
did solely learn off information. I did have a really good mentor, of course, but like there was no implementational part, and that kind of held me back from scaling as quick as someone's like yourself in their first couple months, right?
yeah,
Because now the game has changed. Okay, we're utilizing AI, we're utilizing all these technology that we have now. And the biggest thing that Andrew and I really replicate here, and I'm glad you see it, and it's obvious at this point, but more so building the confidence and certainty before actually stepping in and actually operating, right? Because anytime you start something new and step into the unknown, it's very hard to have that high level of confidence because you don't have the results yet. You don't know how it's going to pan out. You don't know how it's going to work yet. You're not seeing the profit coming in. You're not seeing the bookings coming in. But it's like if we could implement that process with our clients, like yourself, where it's like, hey, we find these markets, we get you these properties, and then we set up these systems with you and show you exactly how and why. Because now you're going to be able to. I'm basically feeding the wins in the beginning stages before we're even up and
It's
running,
everything.
right? To build that confidence, because now it's like you're at this point where it's like, okay, we're doing X good, we're doing this. Let's go ahead and get here now because we have the confidence in seeing that it's working, right? And
Mhm.
that's the momentum that needs to be done in this business, and quite frankly, any business, but especially this one, to continue getting to the goals. So I kind of wanted to add that in there on top of what you were saying. It's just like so massive. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate obviously you taking time out of your day to come on here, and I really, really do appreciate and obviously give you a massive pat on the back to how far you've came in such a short amount of time. Talk to me as we wrap this up. Talk to me a little bit on like your future goals this year with Airbnb arbitrage, and like maybe number wise you're looking to get to total amount of units. Like talk to me a little bit on that.
So I want to number wise, I want to get to 20 net per month at the end of this year, and I
Okay.
want to have at least 20 properties.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing arbitrage as well as purchasing properties, building value in
Nice.
them. I'm
Yeah.
in contract right now to get a fourplex in St. Louis.
Nice.
We're gonna do a big build with it and then rent it out. And then I'm also gonna go over to, I was saying, I'm in talks with an apartment complex and taking a few studios and a few one bedrooms
Nice.
because in all honesty, like I have the 3 bedroom now I have everything. I have one, twos, and threes. And
Yeah.
I don't have any studios. And for who we're trying to cater to, this
Yeah.
that overhead is so freaking appealing. I plan
Yeah.
to do, honestly, my goals are here, but they're very open
Yeah.
because I'm always trusting the plan and trusting opportunities to come. I suspect I always beat my goals. I always do. So
Yeah.
like I don't know exactly where we're gonna get with this as far as towards the
Yeah.
end of the year because in the first quarter right now, it's gonna be killing. I'm really gonna be opening up 1, 2, 6 more in the first quarter at
Wow.
least.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to go a lot higher than that, and that's before I
Yeah.
even signed with the studios and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Wow. That's
that's
great.
20K net, and that's in all honesty, it should happen a lot sooner than the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I could do that strictly without purchasing properties. I could do that strictly with
Yeah.
just arbitrage in one of these markets, but I'm going to do them both. Continue to like diversify as
Sure.
far as seasonality on that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that's where I'm at with it, and
Yeah.
I
That's great.
100% confident. Like, and
Yeah.
it's confidence in myself. I do kick ass and stuff, but it's confidence in the system.
Sure.
It's confidence in the
Yeah.
system. And the fact is that I haven't even utilized all the different avenues as far as funding. I'm still using
Yeah.
my own money. I still use a little bit of credit.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to take in a couple investors. Like, there's an endless amount of money for good
Yeah.
deals. An endless
Sure.
amount of money for good deals. That's one thing I did realize throughout my years of stuff. Like if somebody can promise you 15 to 20% a year, I think they're gonna jump on it. And this is making
Yeah.
a lot more than that.
Yeah.
So that's truly what it is. The system of being
Yeah.
able to implement this and get it going like that, 3 months running, I paid all my freaking bills from this.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the biggest difference in everything. And I gotta give it to you guys for that. You killed it.
Oh, I appreciate that. And I appreciate everything you're saying. Obviously, it makes our heart warm. I know Andrew loves working with you, and it's been a great experience so far. Um, as we wrap this up, I want to take one thing because you do have like a really powerful mindset, obviously, on your previous journey and where you've came from. And again, I know you don't like to like harp on it too much, but
Mm.
it is powerful the way your words do move from like the journey from where you were to where you are now. And I'd like for you to kind of give maybe if you like one sentence to someone who maybe at rock bottom, or maybe is on the fence that is going to be listening to this, maybe not even just on Airbnb arbitrage, but maybe on the fence of starting their first business, right? Like what information or what kind of knowledge would you give to them to maybe remove the fear from their mindset and just give them that incentive to just take one foot in front of the other?
I mean, that would probably come back to something that has to do with starting anything, and is if you don't start this, you're going to be in the same
Mm-hmm.
position. Nothing is going to change.
Yeah,
And everybody's out there
yeah,
like has all different knowledge and stuff, but if you don't take that step and commit and
yeah,
hold yourself accountable, get a mentor or something like that and put your ego in check, because that's what it really comes down to a lot of the times. You put that ego
yeah,
in check and say like, I'm going to give something my full right here. There's no way you will fail with this.
Yeah.
So as far as like you're on the fence right now, someone's on the fence and they just had hit rock bottom. I've been there 100%. And the thing is, if you commit to that, the system works, man. It's just it
Yeah.
comes down to being an algorithm and numbers, and it works.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate it, Dan. I know like as we wrap this up, like we'll kind of cover anything like if you have any questions, but I do want to thank you for coming on and taking some time out of your day to kind of talk to us your experience working with us. And of course, like we're always looking to improve in any areas that we can to obviously make the client experience and journey even better to get faster results, whatever it is that we can do that we're implementing in our portfolio to share to you guys. It's like, that's what we're here to do. Like you said, our purpose is now helping people and it's like bigger than ever before. So it's just absolutely heartwarming to see obviously where you came from. And I appreciate everything you did say today. So thank you so much.